Episode 204 of the TV Dudes podcast, recorded October 10th, 2018. TV for Geeks.
Geek TV.
Geek TV.
There's a lot of Geek TV. In fact, next week is also Geek TV because we're talking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I mean, it really depends on how expansive we want to be on the term geek.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, I could be like, oh man, I'm such a geek for Roseanne and the Connors. Like, that's just always been my thing. I'm a geek for it.
Yeah, like if you want to be into westerns, you can't just be no geek off the street. You got to be handy with the steel.
I think that's a new show coming out called Regulators.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Folks, before Les just derailed us with that terrible joke.
That was the Young Guns joke.
We are the TV Dudes. I'm Grant.
I'm Randy.
I'm Les.
And we are going to be talking about a ton of geeky TV.
Yes, we are.
In fact, I have a list here for you folks if you are taking notes at home. We're going to be talking about Lethal Weapon, The Gifted, Doctor Who, Into the Dark, The Body, Flight of the Conchords, Star Wars Resistance, Star Trek Trek shorts.
It's true.
Or short treks, I believe. And that finale for Better Call Saul Season 4.
Also, in sci-fi terms here, there's a bit of a wormhole in the studio, and people may materialize or dematerialize throughout the show.
Yeah, Kyle's going to join us to talk about TV shows in a little bit, and I'll probably bounce out of here while he's doing that just for our scheduling sake.
And then at some point, risking matter-antimatter collision, the two of you might be in the same place.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's definitely okay. It's not like we wrapped up the body and dragged it away or anything.
Right. No, that's just a Halloween costume.
This is getting weird. Folks, real quick, I want to say that if you want to help us out, you can go to patreon.com/tvdudes. There you can make a per-episode pledge. What does that mean? That means you guys are going to pull out and dust off the old credit card, you know, that relic that you guys are not using anymore because we're in a dystopian society and money has no value.
It's like a local offline
Climate
PayPal.
change. I don't know what's going on.
Get off my lawn.
But yeah, go give us $1 an episode. If you guys like what you're hearing, give us $2 an episode. If you really like what you're hearing, $50 an episode.
If you love what you're hearing, yeah, $50 an episode.
It's 50. That's the number.
I feel like amount of love for us is a direct monetary penalty.
Yeah.
How much do you love the TV Dudes? That'll be $40.
Sorry you're so obsessed
We don't
with
write the
us.
rules.
Yeah, give us all the money.
That's not great for us.
I know. But patreon.com/tvdudes is where you can go to make that pledge because you like supporting the content that you love. And we, in exchange, appreciate you, and we do little podcast minis, little Patreon minis, where we'll talk about all sorts of stuff. You know, we haven't done Wikipedia roulette in a while.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the Marvel Cinematic Universe since last week.
Oh yeah, we talk about that obsessively.
A lot.
Call them short dudes?
Yeah, it's short dudes. Or little short treks, short dudes. Yeah, so we also want to say, if you guys are listening to this, you are listening to one of the proud members of the Electric Sweater Network.
Electric Sweater!
Formerly Permanent Record.
Permanent Record.
You guys are on point. Anyway, go check out all of the other shows at electricsweater.com. There's a good slew of our sister podcasts that all tackle various things in the TV realm. Go show them some love. And $50 on Patreon.
$50 if you love us.
If you love them and love us,
Yes.
$50. News. Randy, what we got?
All right, so there's a lot of season renewals here. I'm just going to run through all three of them real quick. Showtime has ordered season 2 of Kidding.
Uh-huh.
FX has ordered season 2 of Mr. In Between.
Uh-huh.
And Netflix has ordered season 3 of Ozark.
All
So
right.
you guys were kind of mixed on both Kidding and Mr. In Between.
Were we mixed? I loved Kidding. I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm glad to see it's coming back.
Oh, really? Okay.
I haven't watched either of those. One of our commenters said that Mr. In Between should be given more of a chance than apparently y'all gave it, but
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I watched an episode and a half. It just didn't quite click for me.
The noises. Les hasn't seen shows?
Yeah.
How's that happen?
I had it on good authority from the TV dudes that no new TV this fall was worth a shit.
Okay, fair.
That's actually true. Yeah.
Yeah, I went down the. I did watch part of Manifest and part of something else, and was like, if this is the slate, this is bad.
Yeah, yeah. But Kidding is good, and people should watch it.
What other news we got?
All right. So Ridley Scott is going to be directing TV. That's pretty notable. He is doing it for TNT.
Ew.
It's a sci-fi show called Raised by Wolves. Written and corrected by Aaron Guzikowski, who did Prisoners and Papillon. Okay. It revolves around a pair of androids who are tasked with caring for human children on a recently colonized planet where the human residents are becoming increasingly divided over their religious beliefs and, in turn, general philosophical outlooks.
Humans would do that?
I don't want to say. I mean, Ridley Scott's he's done Blade Runner. He's a notable guy. This sounds boring as shit.
Yeah. And then add TNT to the mix, and how is it going to be good? This is just falling skies again.
Yeah, there's almost no way this is going to be worth anybody's time.
Well, isn't he a director that has like 30 projects going? Like at any, I mean, there's always like a slew of stuff under his production company, and I don't know which ones he's really involved in, but. Separately, I haven't had a Ridley Scott movie I really dug in a long time.
I liked Blade Runner 2049.
He didn't direct that, did he?
You're right. That was Dennis Villeneuve.
That was really
Canadian.
good.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, I mean, I didn't watch Alien Covenant.
That's
I didn't
good.
watch, what was the other
Prometheus.
one? Prometheus.
You didn't see Prometheus?
No.
You lucky bastard.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's definitely not a sure thing, and the premise of that does not sound great.
You know the movie Total Recall?
Yes.
You know where they like plug the thing
Also
and
not
he starts having a seizure kind of thing,
Yeah.
and that's what I felt like watching Prometheus.
Oh my god! All right.
Really?
Yeah, I hated Prometheus.
I was going to say Prometheus was good because of the writing, in part, because of Damon Lindelof.
God damn it.
Damon Lindelof is the best.
It's like, why is Grant deciding this? Oh, that's right.
What are those hearts in Grant's eyes? Hearts for Damon Lindelof. He's so dreamy. I don't know what it is. Something about bald heads. Randy.
I don't like where this is going at all.
Look at you. You're like
I do not like where this is going at all. Bald head, geeky.
You're like a Damon Lindelof.
Doesn't know how to tell a story. All right. Walking Dead, which we all love so much we haven't seen several seasons of it.
Mm-hmm.
Season 9 premiered, and it's promising the end of Rick Grimes. Hit a ratings all-time low.
The king is dead.
Yeah.
They are now a living embodiment of their name.
Yeah.
If they would promise me that Negan's not on it, I'm actually great with a shakeup. I mean, I feel like at this point, Rick should swap out. Like, there should be new blood on this show.
Well, he's definitely swapping out. We just know who's swapping in.
But the last episode of this I watched all the way through was the season premiere with Negan.
Yeah.
And fuck that show. Like,
right.
That was...
Was that last season or the season before?
I was talking to a friend today. I couldn't remember if that was 1 year or 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years ago. And it just felt like trolling me, like fucking with me. Like if you just opened Old Yeller with shooting a bunch of dogs, like and just laughed at the camera like, fuck you, it's a dog killing movie. Like
Yeah, in fact, we actually the actor who played Herschel just died in real life. Mm-hmm. But all the lead actors that they had on that show, most of them have actually rotated out too. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how many of the original crew are even there. But that's 9 seasons. Who wants to stick around that long anymore?
I don't know.
That's like your career. It's
I do have a soft spot of wanting to see the new season come back simply because shows like this that run this long start to get weirdly interesting to me just on the fact that they're still making this go. and I feel like you start to get a chance at some really fucked up plot lines and crazy shit.
You think they'll do an episode that's all from the point of view of the zombie?
Yeah, like you're going to have the baby episode of Supernatural or like some really weird shit happen.
An animated crossover Scooby-Doo?
I understand there are horses now.
Yeah.
It's just absurd.
It is absurd.
Yeah. What's the next one?
All right. Star Trek, there was a little bit of detail, not a lot, on the Patrick Stewart, Jean-Luc Picard show that's coming out from Star Trek.
Right.
So it is dubbed an exploration of the next chapter of Picard's life. They'd originally said this was a miniseries. Now it sounds like a series, and they're planning multiple seasons.
This is absurd.
It's just kind of crazy.
Because he's old. I went on a rant on the Star Trek Discovery Pod about this.
Yes.
Where I was like, dude, It's a bait and switch. That's the only thing that can make sense. They got him to attach his name so that they can launch another project that's butts in the seat, and then they're hoping they'll sell everyone on wanting to watch the show after the first episode where they have to kill off Picard.
I disagree.
How is he not Lassard over the Starfleet Academy?
You think he's earned it?
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I just think like how that seemed like the easiest show for this. Like he's old enough, like you could put him in a pop in every once in a while, like Robert Guillaume on Sports Night or something.
I'll be in a chair, and everyone else will go do some stuff.
I mean, that's basically his job anyway. But
Here's the thing: Patrick Stewart is 78 right now. He will be 80 when this comes out in 2020.
Right.
But he also is working on Charlie's Angels, something called Coda, The Kid Who Would Be King, where he's playing Merlin. Like, this guy is not slowing down in his old age.
Here's another thing.
Yeah.
I went to ACL, the Austin City Limits Music Festival this last weekend,
Yep.
and I saw Sir Paul McCartney play.
Yeah,
that guy is 76 years old, only 2 years younger than Picard here.
Yep.
And he fucking rocked it out the entire time. I mean, he's not like doing like crazy movements, but he put on an amazing show, and he did it for 2.5 hours. It was a 2.5 hour show.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I watched Metallica do a 2.5 hour show, and they took like 2 or 3 breaks. He took no breaks.
You got to remember, these guys are old, but they're rich old. They've got access to the young blood of virgins that keeps them youthful.
Oh shit! I remember that Silicon Valley episode. Yeah. So.
John Cleese, for the record, is 1 year older than Picard. That guy's still active.
What's he doing?
I don't know.
being a
Stuff.
curmudgeon online. He's great.
Yeah, he's great online.
He's playing a lot of Schooner, so he's also out there.
He was in a TV show called Hold the Sunset in 2018.
Oh, John Cleese.
Don't believe you.
What a reference.
I'm just saying, don't be so ageist, Grant. He could definitely hold down a show.
I'm very ageist. That's how I am.
I know.
Everyone in our government who is over the age of
Say 67. 68.
55.
Wild in the streets. No one over 21. Fuck, wait.
I'll say over 62. They should go.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
Just you're too old.
They should go and make a Star Trek show.
The planet is dying, and you guys have no investment. You're 1 foot out the door.
Yeah.
You guys don't give a shit, so that's why you're not fixing shit.
Is
lower than that.
this how you feel about Picard on Star Trek too? That
he doesn't care anymore.
He's not going to be alive.
He's
for
got
when,
a foot out the galaxy.
the space door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited for this. I don't hate old people like Grant does. So
I just hate him.
So Grant has left for a minute, and he has not watched any shows this week either because he didn't do his homework.
Tardy.
You guys did your homework.
Pretty much.
Always. I even do my homework when I'm not on the episode.
Yeah. So here's the weird thing. Kyle was not here for the intro, but he is here because he did the homework.
Yeah, you gotta come. If you're not gonna be at class, you gotta at least send your homework in.
That's right. That's what this is. Yeah.
Well, he just fell through the ceiling, which if you watched this week's Doctor Who, it's just a thing that happens.
So, it's me, Randy, and Kyle and Les on the mic, and we're going to talk Lethal Weapon, The Gifted, Doctor Who, Into the Dark, the first episode, Flight of the Conchords, and Star Wars Resistance. And then Grant's going to rejoin us to talk Better Call Saul, finale.
It's a lot of things.
It's a lot of things.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Let's
TV
start.
this week.
All right, so first, let's talk Lethal Weapon.
That's actually the theme song. Proof that I watched this show.
No one but Kyle watched this show,
Right, Kyle, take it away.
Okay, so if you're familiar, I started heavy on this show. The guy they had playing Riggs, I really liked him in the first couple episodes. I stuck around. It kind of scratched my buddy cop itch, but there was just too much of it, and it just got way shitty. I fell off.
Yeah.
Then the shakeup.
Yep. Turns out that guy was actually a horrible human being.
Yeah.
Of some regard, and is no longer employed there.
There's something nice about when like a group of people come together to like collectively hate one person. because it's like reassuring. Like I'm not crazy. Like that guy's a dick. We all hate him.
I could use more of that in my life.
And I was really so I watched the very first episode of Lethal Weapon when it Fox did the reboot in the first place,
Sure.
right? And I went, wow, that's odd. And and that guy's wearing a ridiculous mustache, and so I skip ahead 3 years. I watched this episode, which starts with an amazing compressed recap of the whole thing, and I can't believe that they got the guy that they canned to shoot his death scene. I kind of wondered if, like, oh man, is this going to be like a contract thing where they're going to have him like wave by and go in the distance?
Riggs died on the way back to his own planet,
and like exactly. Are they just going to poochie this? And they actually got him to do his own death, and then I know compressing things for recaps kind of makes everything a little silly and Benny Hill style. But who is this clown with a fucking porn stash and these stupid boots? Like, and then he dies. It's great. And they replaced him with Sean William Scott, who is one of my favorite comedic action actor goofballs.
Do you know how much Sean William Scott got paid for the first American Pie?
No.
$8,000.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I can't believe they didn't pay Stifler just in beer. Oh man.
But yeah, no. So the show, it kind of scratches the itch, but it's a little over the top. It's a little goofy. They come back. They try to have an emotional first episode. The only problem is they put Sean William Scott in the exact same situation they put Jack Ryan in. All right?
Yes, so this is Jack Ryan meets, what was the Rundown?
Okay.
Like Sean William Scott in the rock movie, The Rundown. It's like
I have
that,
Redbox.
but way more Jack Ryan-y. Yeah, because that's the first thing I thought.
Wait, back up. When you say Jack Ryan,
I mean, like he's
Okay.
he's like Matisse in Jack. He's like a
Yeah.
goofball Matisse with the world's
But-
dumbest arm tattoo.
Here's where Fox jumps the shark on this one. They have to convince you, like, his whole, like, character development is something that happened overseas with a kid, and it's not what happened to Jack Ryan, which I don't want to spoil it, but it's just the kid dies, and he sees the kid die, and it's like, oh, I lost one of my guys over there, and I can't get over it.
And in pausing and not getting over it, he fucks something up on the mission, and the next thing you know, he is literally a meter maid. And like they don't, at least not in what I caught. It didn't seem like they made entirely clear if he was busted down to meter maid or if the CIA has put him here for some reason. It seems like he got busted down for dipshittery.
They're dangling a little bit of fox fruit in front of us, but I'm not biting.
you think it's possible the CIA has a secret meter maid program they're running?
I think that there's like a 22 Jump Street thing happening, and Sean William Scott has been sent here to spy on all of them, and they're going to reveal some goofball grand conspiracy.
So he's a brand new character. He's not like the
He's
recast
not
Riggs.
Correct.
He is
Riggs
cold.
is officially dead in the Lethal Weapon TV show universe. And what we got with these first two episodes, the first one, essentially, it flips it over. We get the recap. They introduce us to Sean William Scott, and then it ends with the episode talking about, Murtaugh brought me up, I want you as my partner, so I'm bringing you on, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. So then episode 2, which I know none of you have seen.
no,
but
there's 3 of these already, right?
Oh, yeah, I think there's a third one by the time we record this. But essentially, that's the first episode. That's where we get to see, like, what this, like, partnership is going to be.
Yeah, because this just cold introduced them to each other. Like, the first episode back actually ends with Sean William Scott giving a monologue where he literally says to Damon Wayans, I know I have big shoes to fill, and I can't even fill them. And Damon Wayans, they were boots, actually. And he tucked his jeans into them. Like, it's... like I sat there and was like, wow, the writers went, well, we have to put this scene in. Someone write it. Like we need to I feel like Sean William Scott must have been contractually obligated to look directly at the camera and say, I'm sorry, I'm replacing that person.
I did find it kind of interesting, like, as, Murtaugh is giving this performance, like, I miss Riggs, I can't go on without Riggs. Like, oh, and, if Riggs was here, like, barely holding it together, because, yeah, he doesn't miss this guy. We've all read the stories.
And they still interrupt this scene with a joke, like a great, that's very moving. No, we're really moving. Like,
so Shannon went, aw, and I said, don't aw that.
Don't awe that. Rescind that awe.
So Kyle, are you going to keep watching this show?
Okay. So here's the thing. I was trying to think back, like, why did I start watching Lethal Weapon in the first place? And it caught me at a really good TV lull. So I'm looking at what's on the roster right now.
Yeah.
There's stuff that I've skipped that I'm not going back to. I don't quite have that much TV time to where I can go and catch up on some of the Netflix stuff I've been missing. So it might be Candy TV for me. I'll let you know if I do episode 3, but I have no plans as of yet.
So it's pretty fun Candy TV. Like, I don't think I'll watch them sequentially, but I think I might catch a random episode of Lethal Weapon from time to time.
So you guys know Damon Wayans is leaving the show, right?
Oh my God, who are they going to replace him with?
No idea.
For real?
This is going to be so good.
He for real said, I'm getting too old for this shit, and is getting out. And it's starting to look, maybe Clayne Crawford was not all the problem. Like, maybe the two of them are both prima donnas, and Damon Wayans is going to peace out as well.
Well, I don't know.
You just replaced them both and stopped calling it Lethal Weapon and made it a different buddy cop show. I'd be so much more on board.
I think they should steer into it and go like Damon Wayans, like Murtaugh should die and be replaced by a crime-fighting robot. Or maybe a dog.
That'd be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what was that show with Carl Urban? Where it was
Almost Human?
Yeah, get one of those like crossover.
Yeah.
Fox it. Fox it.
All right. The other Fox show we want to talk about this week is The Gifted, which came back for its second season. And there were, 2 or 3 episodes back?
It's 3 episodes back now,
Okay.
I think.
I've only seen the first one back.
And this season is brought to you by the letter M.
Yes.
Where last
right.
season was brought by
Yes.
the letter X.
Yes.
I assume that's M for mutant, Randy.
Maybe. Or maybe they just really like M&M's in the writer's room.
Maybe.
Yummy.
So, The Gifted, I don't know where you left off on the show, Les. Did you
I'm
wind up
fully
liking
caught
it?
up.
Okay. But were you a fan all the way through? Because I didn't watch the finale until last night.
I really do. So I feel like superhero shows are in 2 classes. There is Legion.
Yeah.
Like there is superhero shows that are like on a different level, and then there's like the best of what I'd always assumed was superhero TV. And you've got the CW kind of occupying one big spot with some tiers in there, and I think Black Lightning kind of outpaces most of their stuff. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. should have been great, but kind of fell.
There's a third tier, and that's where Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Krypton belong.
Yeah. So The Gifted gave me the superhero multiple person fights of like people using their powers in teamwork to like Blink opening a portal and Eclipse shooting a laser through it to like the kind of combination battles that I want from X-Men comics.
Yeah.
And the kind of ridiculous family soap opera that I also know to expect from X-Men comics.
Sure.
This feels like an X-Men show and has from the whole first season in a way that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just never clicked for me.
Yeah.
And even though The Gifted is not by any stretch my favorite show on TV, and I feel like they could be doing all of this at a higher, like they could push the clutch in and move to a higher gear. There is definitely a higher gear for this show somewhere. But I really enjoy it. And I find myself every time I start to lull on the family drama and watching Vampire Bill chew scenery. They managed to do some like crazy ass power show or something, or they have the cuckoo triplets do something fucked up, and I'm back. I'm like, okay, cool, X-Men show.
I think I've come to the point where, and I really liked this at the outset. This was the guy who did Burn Notice, and it feels
it's very
like
Matt Nix.
It feels like the guy doing Burn Notice doing an X-Men show, like it's action, solid action melodrama TV. But when I came back to it, I realized, I don't know how much interest I have in sort of X-Men with the serial numbers filed off, which is what it feels like everything is. Like, they can't say Magneto's name.
No, but they make straight reference to, like, in the first season of, like, the X-Men aren't here anymore.
Yeah.
And you don't know where they are.
Yeah, but I can't count the number of times someone said, your father to Polaris. And I'm
my
like,
God, yeah.
It's Magneto. Fucking say Magneto. I get it. Like, the cuteness of dancing around the X-Men and the Brotherhood and all that stuff is starting to wear on me.
I kind of feel like it's like when they finally just cast Tyler Hoechlin or whatever
as Superman.
Superman. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah,
for
he's
just not being weird about it.
He's in the universe. That's all I need. Yeah, just like that's all I need. Like just give me Magneto for 5 minutes and I'm fine with it. But I feel like there's like they don't do the costumes and any of that stuff, which understandable on a TV budget.
There are no costumes, and that honestly is my biggest disappointment with Gifted.
Yeah, I think for me weirdly this is not the Gifted's fault. They didn't change between season 1 and 2. But the news that Kevin Feige is going to bring X-Men into Marvel Universe has killed any interest in anything X-Men besides that for me. Like, I don't care anything Fox does with the X-Men at this point because it feels like it doesn't count.
Yeah, that's affecting because the Gifted is filed off serial numbers,
Yeah.
and like this all feels like it's operate. I mean, I feel like the Netflix Marvel universe kind of looks up occasionally and goes, "Sure, we're in the MCU, whatever."
Yeah, yeah.
and like they know that none of this shit touches them, and I feel like the Gifted kind of looks up and like, whatever y'all do with Bryan Singer and the rest of that frame, whatever.
Yeah, we don't care.
It's never gonna. Y'all don't know do y'all even know we're still making this show?
Yeah, yeah.
And what that's really fucked with for me is like why Dark Phoenix is even coming out.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
halt production on that
Yep.
movie and move on.
Yeah.
I don't care what studio you are. Why is it, Brian Fuller's doing it, you give it to somebody else, it gets better, and then your idea is to give it back to Brian Fuller?
Bryan Singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Brian Singer, like, why give it back to him when somebody else...
I don't know.
Oh, please don't get like.
No,
See-
that's what they did.
Oh, God.
He came
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
'Cause
and
Matthew-
he's been doing all
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
and Matthew Vaughn. Anyway,
Matthew Vaughn did First Class, which was great, and then Bryan Singer came back and fucked everything up.
There's a lot of reasons to not hire
Yeah.
Bryan Singer for things.
Yeah, but yeah, I think The Gifted is one of those shows. Again, like Lethal Weapon, it's solidly produced, it's solid network TV. But I feel like I don't think I have time for this.
Yeah, So because mutants appeal to me
Yeah.
the way like buddy cops would make people seek out Lethal Weapon. Yeah,
Yeah.
like this is not a spectacular show. It just hits my sweet spot.
The one thing I like specifically about season 2, the big change in season 2, is that there's now 2 factions,
Yeah, they very much got the Hellfire Club Inner Circle as
Yeah.
a big bad now.
and I like I like the opening scene with the Cuckoos and their new ally, basically just straight up murdering the old Hellfire Club
Yeah.
and taking over. There's some fun stuff in there.
It reminded me of, and this is kind of where the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. branch off happened for it. Like, it reminded me of the girl in the flower dress, like when they introduced
Yeah.
her in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and you thought, like, this is going to be great, and then it just wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, her whole, they just kind of felt like, that was the first time where I felt like they utterly wasted a character on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And so the Gifted, like, she's crazy powerful and does a show of power in the 3rd episode that is disturbing.
Yeah. All right, let's talk Doctor Who. Doctor Who just came back. Hey, there is a new doctor, Jodie Whittaker. There's something a little different about her. She doesn't have a sonic screwdriver.
No, she doesn't. She
Also, she's a she.
She is also a... Why do you keep calling her a she?
So I love this. What'd you guys think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely on board as well.
Where were you guys on Doctor Who prior to this? What have you been watching?
So you want to go first, Les?
Yeah, I very much like Doctor Who, but I fell way behind on the Capaldi years.
Me too.
I was a big Matt Smith fan. I really liked David Tennant's run. I liked when they brought Eccleston in, but
Yeah.
clearly, he clearly just never wanted to be on the
He
show.
wanted out very badly.
It's just
Yeah.
coming out of him.
He wanted out
but,
very badly.
But I always liked Doctor Who, and I just fell off during Capaldi somehow. I think I got behind and then just didn't pick it back up.
Yeah, I was not feeling Capaldi. I heard that when they introduced the new companion, Bill, that it got better, but it was not my thing. I didn't want the old cranky doctor.
Yeah, there was just something I was done in for a second after Matt Smith, but.
Kyle, where were you on
Where were
Doctor
you?
Who?
So yeah, no, I gave Capaldi about a season and a half, and then it was funny because one of my friends was like, "Hey man, you watching that Capaldi?" Like it was a secret, like no, and he's like, "Oh damn, sorry, I thought I could chat with you," and so I jumped back on it for a little bit, and yeah, it does get a lot better. Bill's a great companion. I think the biggest problem with the Capaldi season is they tried to put him in a box right away instead of letting him develop the character and have it be more of a reflection of that actor's personality in some ways.
Right.
And I think that was a detriment because by the time they got there, people had already lost interest.
Yeah, I agree. It was a big change.
Yeah. And I was also telling Les, I think the biggest problem with Capaldi wasn't necessarily him, but possibly Moffat sticking around a little past his expiration date.
Yeah, I was telling Kyle earlier. Obviously the change in gender for the Doctor is just cool and groundbreaking, and I was looking forward to seeing what Whittaker was going to bring to the role. But the most exciting shakeup for me that I felt the show most needed to really pull my interest and not make me feel like they were just doing gimmicks was the writing shakeup.
Yeah, and is it Chris Chibnall? Is that the one who's doing it? It's someone from Broadchurch. Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, so Chris, I believe it's Chris Chibnall, who did Broadchurch and Grace Point, and came in to do, which is interesting because looking into the past, did Torchwood as well. Okay, there I was going to say there's
got to
like
be some connection.
yeah, but it's a lot of straightforward. Like they did a few episodes they created Camelot. and then did some Law & Order UK. So it's a lot of sort of straightforward TV.
Well, I was really impressed in this one. Well, both the monster in this first episode was straight creepy. Like, that was a disturbing new monster that didn't feel like British cute to me at all. Like, as far as American sensibility, I just think it freaked me out a little bit. That warrior seemed messed up.
Yeah.
But separately, the gang, who I'm not sure who her companion is yet, because we've still kind of got like a
serendipitous hodgepodge of companions.
But that worked for me in a way that it would. Part of what messed me up in the Capaldi years, I think, was that I was not as enamored with the companion. And when he first took over as the doctor, I still felt like it was all about, was it Coleman?
Clara.
Yeah, Clara. I felt like it was just entirely about Clara, and it wasn't about her like I was about Amy
I was like,
Pond.
when the hell is she going to fall in the ravine? Like, let's just get to the good stuff.
Yeah, I think Clara was kind of a miss. I liked Clara when she first showed up.
It went for too long for me.
She was great with Matt Smith.
Yeah.
The dynamic changed, and I feel like Capaldi almost leaned on her a little bit, where she was leaning on the doctor before.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that last season, it did seem like the story was unnecessarily about her.
So I was a little afraid with this whole gang of people that Whitaker would be. That it would be awkward and weird, and since they were doing another "Find the Doctor, Who Am I" kind of thing, but honestly, Whitaker hit the ground running,
literally
so Tennant-esque for me that
very Tennant-esque.
She could have yelled Alanzi, like. Yeah, she was great. She had that. I was telling Carly, she had that like run into the room and like scream, "Oh my God, what's that monster? Let's find out!" Run towards it.
Yeah,
like just insane. Like she's gonna get you all killed, but probably save you all at the last minute.
Just really slipped into it. Where like the Doctor in the past has kind of had that like fatherly protector feel, kind of like. You kind of get the sense it's almost like a motherly type thing. Like, hey, why are you messing with these people?
I like that she's sort of she's I think Les nailed it. She's kind of adventurous. She like jumps in and is like, yeah, what's this? Let's run toward danger.
And there's a full mission statement. Like she flat says, I'm traipsing about the universe, establishing fair play.
Yeah,
and I loved the declarative like new writing staff mission statement of like, what's the Doctor about? Like just traveling around the universe, seeing cool shit, and making sure things are fair.
I also like they made her a little more like working class in a way. Like her whole obsession with there being things in her pockets, building her own sonic Swiss Army knife. That's really
now
cool.
With Sheffield Steel.
Can we talk about that for a moment?
Yeah.
So I found the device a bit feminine.
Really? Did you?
A pinch more bulbous than sonic screwdrivers in the past. If David Tennant had a skinny sonic screwdriver,
it looks a little more organic. Like it doesn't. I don't know. I think it's just more the shape of it.
I like that it looked more clunky. It looks homemade, and I liked that.
All right, I'm just going to throw this out here.
Yep.
I haven't seen it close up. I haven't gotten. I've just seen her hold it. Maybe it's the way she's holding it. I think it kind of looks like a sex toy. More so than sonic screwdrivers in the past. At least they had the pointy bits where you'd like, oh yeah, I'd never try that.
I mean, let's be honest. The sonic screwdrivers all look a little bit like sex toys.
True. And I mean, some people look at the pointy bits and they're like, yeah, I'm going to try that.
And here's the other thing. Doctor Who is a long-lived alien being. So there is a very good chance the Doctor Who has used them all as sex toys.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and two, it's like, I just lost my TARDIS. I've lost all my stuff. What's the first thing I need to get?
Yeah, fair enough. But I also like that she builds like this device to go find her TARDIS. I like that she's more of a little bit more techie.
Yeah, and a very like, we can throw this together. I can make this work. Like, I love that about the Doctor. That's a very Doctor Who trait that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
So we got some of the big questions to ask.
Yeah.
First one, outfit. What we thinking?
I didn't like it at first when I first saw it. Like when they premiered it, they showed the picture, and I'm like, oh, this looks weird. It's like a soccer mom kind of deal. And then when I saw it in play, like when she changed into it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. And it totally fits her. Like it's just like the scarf fit, whatever version of the Doctor it is. This sort of slightly odd. That person does not know how fashion works totally for her.
Well, and I love that she finds the outfit in essentially a thrift store.
Yeah,
after throwing out like, oh, I want this, and like,
because you're like, where would you find that stuff? Thrift store.
And even the kids look at her and like, that's what you're going with?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, this feels great. And yeah, I did the same. When I first saw the photo of it, I thought, I don't know if that works.
Yeah.
But
You know what I think? Oh, sorry.
but after watching her like literally do the entire episode in Capaldi's old clothes,
Which I like too.
which was great, and I kind of forgot she was wearing it, and then one of the kids was like, "You have to change," and it's true. Like, she's just disgusting. And when she puts it on at that point, after spending time with her, you're exactly right. Like, it fits in a way that like previous Doctors' goofy outfits also fit. Like, this is an alien who just thinks your culture's amusing.
Yeah.
And is wearing
Yeah.
it has literally pulled from whatever they think is funny about it.
Holy shit! Was Mork from Orca a
Time Lord? I think so.
Hell yeah. So my theory about the first reactions to the costume, whenever we see the first look at the costume, they did this with Capaldi too. We get the wide shot. We see the shoes to the hair. Well, when they introduce it on the show, we get all these like tight shots, and from like the waist up, like the suspenders and the jacket with the hood, like it's a really tight look.
Yeah, it is.
And then when it goes wide, you're like, oh, those are high waters and
The
yeah,
rainbow
it's-
stripe across it, like it feels like it calls back to older outfits.
Yeah.
And the high waters are goofy, and I love the long jacket.
Yeah. The callback is interesting, and I do feel like she has elements of what I liked about Matt Smith, which is sort of that goofy energy. She definitely has elements of Tenet, and yeah, some of that old school is in there too. I think that had this not been the first female Doctor, this would still have been a great Doctor. Like I like what we're getting, and I also like they don't do a whole lot about how she's a woman now. They do the bit where she comes down and they're like, "Why are you calling me she? Well, you're a woman. Oh, well, do I pull it off?"
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all they're doing.
Like, the only other stuff they talk about, like the body differences, are just any body change, like the normal regeneration jokes of like, I missed that jump, my legs used to be longer.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, my hope is that the Doctor, like with the male versions, continues to be kind of asexual in a lot of like when a situation gets hypersexual, they're the last one to realize.
Yeah.
And that'd be a lot of fun if there's situations with girls.
I would love to see River Song back. I don't know where we left off with River Song.
oh yes, because I would love to know Rivers' like
Take on this
and knowledge of it, of like, oh yeah, did I not mention?
Yeah, there was a point at which you were a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they may have written her off the show completely.
Did they? That's too bad.
I think they got to like the end of her timeline because they were going in different directions.
Yeah. It's like they did the death of River
Well,
Song.
the start of her timeline, I guess we start
Yeah.
with the end of her timeline.
Right. I really liked the cliffhanger ending too. I'm dying to know where they go from here.
You know, I liked it too, except for one thing.
Yeah.
They kind of did this last season. It's
Did they?
kind of the same. So the regeneration scene, did you get to see it?
No, I did not.
So what happens is it's a little different. Obviously, like the TARDIS is blowing up, but she falls out the door, and she's just falling to the ground.
Maybe I did see this.
Well, yeah, that's how she both lands on Earth and loses her TARDIS.
Yeah.
Though, when they cliffhangered this one, though, my first thought was, wow, we know how well sci-fi fandom handles female space princesses surviving the vacuum.
Oh, right. That worked out great for Star Wars.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, I could just hear fans like, female Doctor, how's she surviving space? Like,
I bet the TARDIS is just going to materialize around them.
it's always something. Yeah, it's her fucking show.
Well, and that's one of the big gripes that I want to bring up to you guys. One of the things you always look forward to when a new Doctor episode comes out is what's the TARDIS going to look like.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to see the TARDIS.
she's going to have to rebuild the TARDIS. Like, she's going to have to fix it. It's going to be jacked up. And I wonder if the pool will be more accessible now.
Well, you know what I'm scared of is they did a season where the Doctor didn't have the TARDIS.
Did they?
I want to say the third or fourth Doctor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was part of a unit, and he stayed on Earth the whole time, and he helped. It was kind of like Roger Moore era James Bond. So he was
It's kind of what
more of a
establishes
secret agent
Torchwood,
type.
basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure they're connected in some
Yeah,
way.
the unit's definitely connected.
well, they're clearly not going to stay on Earth.
Yeah. Well, the other big one is, did I miss it, or was there no title cards?
Oh, I didn't see a title card. You're right.
I don't think I didn't notice one, but that's
In
not to
fact,
say.
did we get an intro?
Yeah, I don't think there was any intro sequence.
There's been a new sequence music released, so maybe they just left it off the first episode.
I think that's probably the case.
Because that's also another big one. Even
Now
with
I'm
the
gonna have to
same
check.
Doctor,
Did I just missed that? Wow.
they would change it throughout
It always
seasons
changes a little bit.
And in fact, it sucked because Matt Smith had like the dopest one his very last season.
Yeah.
Like they're all good, but I mean, it was just they did some really neat stuff. Yeah, what else? Did
All
you
right.
catch it all?
I think, I mean, I was pretty happy with this. I'm definitely be watching more.
Yeah, I will definitely be watching.
Can't
more.
wait.
All right. Hulu started a new anthology series from Blumhouse called Into the Dark. It is going to be a different sort of horror movie every month, themed around the holiday of the month. So next month will be a Thanksgiving one.
I really didn't know they were going to do it that way.
Yeah.
I assumed that this was Halloween, like a horror anthology always.
It's a horror anthology,
But it's always going to be
but
different
it's
holiday
based on
themes?
holidays.
Okay. The premise of the premise of the body of
Yeah.
this first
Yep.
one was so simple that I went, oh yeah, that's an interesting conceit. I see how you sat down and wrote a screenplay about that, but it didn't seem interesting enough to make me want to sit down and watch it right now. I felt like I could see the jokes that would come from that, and it was going to have to really reach. Blumhouse Productions is kind of why I went ahead and hit play on it. It was
Yeah,
like,
same.
you guys know horror. Even when you misfire, it's still goofy fun. And like Truth or Dare or something was still fun.
Yeah.
And I ended up enjoying the body. I'm glad I stuck with it. It goes into kind of a delicious old school Tales from the Crypt a little bit at the end. Of EC Comics, like we're gonna turn the knife back on the kill, like not in a revenge flick kind of way, but just in like everything's dark, this night is bad.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about this to me is that I couldn't figure out who I was supposed to be rooting for.
Nobody, everybody sucks in this, like, but they all get hurt. So
Yeah,
fuck it. It's
yeah.
like Jackass.
Well, I couldn't figure out if like, are we supposed to sympathize with Wilkes because he's the monster, he's the killer.
Well, and then I really wanted to like the girl.
Yeah.
But she's not okay.
She's a psychopath.
Yeah. All of the people at the party, like I ended up actually, whatever Morgan Adams of the Baltimore Morgan Adams, wherever
Yes.
the hell his family, she name drops his family like
Yep.
50 million times throughout
Yep.
the entirety of this thing. This rich kid. It's great. So as they're getting framed for stuff later, they're like, you kept saying your fucking name.
Yeah.
Like,
that he was played by White Josh from
yes,
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend
that's right.
was
He's
fantastic.
White Josh from Crazy Ex.
Yeah.
I ended up it's a little, it's not screwball, but it's a little cranked up,
Yeah.
and it's the laid on too thick almost turned me off to it, but the whole thing is kind of driven and mean spirited in a very Tales. It kind of reminded me of Tales from the Crypt. I dug it.
There's that Griffin Dunn movie. Is it After Hours? Is that what it's called? Where it's like him and he winds up like on the run from the mob somehow, and it's like this weird romance thing.
Yes, I think that's it.
This felt like that. It was this weird thing. I'm like, what genre is this? Because I'm like, we're buying into this relationship between the hitman and the girl to some extent. Like, I know I shouldn't be rooting for them to find the poor hapless people and kill them, but I kind of was when I was on their side. And then we flip point of view and we're seeing White Josh and his hapless buddies. I'm like, I'm kind of rooting for them to escape the killer.
Like I'm laying bets on all of it here. Yeah.
And there's bits like when it looks like all of a sudden the killer's going to get his and then he doesn't, and that's kind of entertaining. I'm like, yeah, and then you're right. It's got that sort of O. Henry Tales from the Crypt twist at the end where I'm like, wait a minute, what was all this for?
Like, did anybody learn any lessons out
Yeah.
of any of this?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
It just.
If anything, I feel like weirdly it was too long.
Yeah, it should have been a 1 hour thing.
It should have been a
I
1 hour
was really
thing.
surprised it was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I thought about that at a little after the hour mark. I kind of went, no, this feels a little overlong.
Or even if it could have been a 45-minute part of a 3-part anthology film. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like if this was something
if it
like
had Trick or Treated out, where I saw him drag that thing in the background
of something else.
The second episode, I'd have jumped up out of my chair.
Yeah, that I think it's just shy of being great.
Yeah,
but
definitely
it's pretty
worth
solid.
watching.
Yeah,
and much better than I thought it would be. I really just thought Hulu was throwing something at the wall to see if I'd watch it during October. And hey, I will.
It was just Blumhouse's name that got me to watch
I
it.
got through the credits. I was like, Blumhouse, is this going to be at least fun? And it was.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'll watch whatever the fuck they do for Thanksgiving.
Me too.
That's
and
so weird.
I don't know if that's true.
I hope
heard
to
that.
God that's true.
Yeah.
We need more Thanksgiving holiday movies.
That's true.
Just in general, like Home for the Holidays and Dutch are not covering this.
And Planes, Trains, and
And
Automobiles.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Yes, like there's a triumvirate that's a pretty good stack right now. So let's see what they add.
One question for our 12-year-old listeners.
Yep.
Any ladies take their shirts off?
No, it's not that kind of horror.
No.
No Hulu?
No.
Not doing it? Not going on Netflix?
Nope. There's lots of blood and violence, though.
There is some drug use.
Shame.
And drug use.
Mm.
Yeah. All right, let's talk Flight of the Conchords, which is technically outside our purview because it's not. Flight of the Conchords was a TV show.
Yes.
This is a concert reunion movie, basically. This is
/ comedy special.
Yeah, it's a live concert in London, and they are sort of in character, sort of.
Yeah, well, you kind of start to see where the lines blur between the character and then them just as performers and creatives. Because, I was reading before we watched this, they quit doing the show.
Yeah.
But not because they didn't like doing Flight of the Conchords or they didn't like what they were just so stressed out by like doing the show all the time.
Because they had to keep coming up with new original songs all the time, right?
Yeah, and it kind of makes me think like what's great about their songs. Like one of my favorites is "I'll Be the Dragon." Are you guys familiar with that one?
Yeah, I'll Be the Racist Dragon.
Yeah. "I'll Be the Racist Dragon" is not about two guys who are like broke living in New York in an apartment.
Right.
And as soon as you make as soon as the music starts to be around that or have to fit around that, like it's not as great as like their imagination. And what I loved just busting right into this is that we got to see some of that imagination again.
Yeah, I love seeing new music from them. Like there were new songs mixed in with the classics.
Yeah, like kicking off with a song I had not heard before was great. I assume the dad song is new.
Yeah, I think several of those are new. However, my big disappointment was I would have liked some kind of interstitials showing me what Britt and is it Jermaine and Britt?
Yeah, Jermaine and Britt.
So actually, like I would have liked to have seen what they were up to. Like I feel like at least one of them is married in some kind of disastrous marriage.
Yeah,
I want to know what Murray was up to. I missed the rest of the Flight of the Conchords trappings.
I was kind of hoping that we'd get to see a cameo from like one of the OG characters.
Yeah.
Because what's his face? Oh my gosh, I can't think of the actors' names, but the guy who obviously Kristen Shaw.
Yeah, Kristen Shaw. Yeah.
And her husband from
Yeah, Bedecker.
Yes.
Hey, Grant, what's up?
Grant's here.
What? Jumping on.
Yeah.
But no, like getting to see them or Murray would have been the best one to get to see come back.
Yeah, for sure.
I did love the addition of the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra joining them on stage.
Yeah, that is a callback in a way to the Prime Minister of New Zealand being just a dude. I did like that, but they never did anything with it. It was just that it was one dude.
Yeah, well, they needed somebody else on stage to make it sound that good, and that was just so funny that the whole orchestra is one person.
Yeah, I really wanted it to be new TV show.
Yeah, me too.
And so when I saw it was a concert, I was like, oh, well, I mean, it's this new Flight of the Conchords though.
Yeah.
But what it made me realize was you either already liked Flight of the Conchords, but this was not going to win you over if you had not before. Like,
yeah,
like it's been a really bad couple of weeks as far as the news cycle goes, and Flight of the Conchords, like, oh my God, there's a new Flight of the Conchords special. This was exactly what I wanted. Like, thank God this hit the air. Like, I'm so glad that this is there for me to watch right now. And I turned it on and was like, it's the same as when Wet Hot American Summer continued on. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is just what I need right now. And if you don't already like Wet Hot American Summer, this is not going to help you. Like, all my friends that already loved Wet Hot were like, oh, fuck yeah, it's back. This is just what I need. And
but it'll bring on like new viewers.
Yeah, and like Flight of the Conchords, my wife is not a huge fan. She likes them, but they're not her favorite. And so when I was like, no, honey, it's been a long week, and I kind of want to watch Flight of the Conchords, it didn't hit like that for her.
Yeah.
And as I'm watching it, I was like, this is not going to change that for you.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I think is almost better than the first season of the HBO show is the audio drama they did that essentially takes a lot of the main parts of the story. I think these guys are very talented with that format with music, and I was really not affected. I noticed that this performance, I feel like it works just as well as like kind of reintroducing their music to everybody and, you know, possibly laying the foundation for their next album as it did as a comedy special.
Yeah.
Which it still had a lot of pretty funny bits in there.
All right. Is that all on Flight of the Conchords?
Yeah. Luckily, I left my list at home. I was like, let's talk about all the segments.
Kyle's detailed notes.
All right. Last thing before we get to Better Call Saul. Just real quick, want to mention Star Wars Resistance, which I did watch. Nobody else did. And it's the new Star Wars animated show from Dave Filoni, who did Clone Wars and Rebels. And this is takes place between, basically right before Force Awakens. So Poe Dameron recruits this kid who's a starfighter pilot out of the academy, takes him to this platform on an ocean planet where they do like racing, like not pod racing, but they race like ships. Kind of Porco Rosso or the Rocketeer with its air circus, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And he is going to be, they think the First Order is infiltrating this place, so he's going to be the spy for the Resistance, and he's going to figure out if the First Order is infiltrating this platform. While he does that as cover, he's going to work as a mechanic for this guy who knows Poe from his time in the Rebellion. This is an okay premise, but it seems really small for Star Wars. I'm like, who gives a shit if the First Order takes over this platform?
Yeah, who has a lightsaber?
Yeah, no, there's no Jedi at all.
What?
Like, this almost does not feel like Star Wars. It feels like someone wanted to do like a air circus kind of thing set in the 30s, and they made it a sci-fi show.
Now
instead.
you're talking to me.
How would it? Let me ask you a question. Imagine for a moment the characters anthropomorphic animals. All right.
Yeah.
Star Fox Resistance. Could it work?
Yes, it could.
All
Also,
right.
that calls back to my Porco Rosso point, which is what I love Porco Rosso, which is a Miyazaki movie that has a flying pig voiced by Michael Keaton in the American adaptation. And it's all like, I think it's turn of the century Spain, flying biplanes and shit.
It's great.
Yeah.
Porco Rosso's amazing.
I watched 3 episodes of this, and this felt very Disney. I mean, not that it's not Disney, but Clone Wars and Rebels had a little bit of an edge to them. This feels a little bit like, hey, what if we made Aladdin a Star Wars show? Like it's
Tailspin in space.
Yeah, it's just Tailspin in Space sounds better too, but it's a little too kiddie. It's a little too small stakes, and maybe it'll grow because Rebels started out that way too. But I was pretty disappointed in it. So
Dragon Prince is better.
Dragon Prince is definitely better. All right, should we talk Better Call Saul?
Did you already talk Star Wars?
Yes.
Or Star Trek?
No,
You know which one I meant.
No, I didn't. You don't know what Klingons are either. I didn't know if you knew the difference between Star Trek and Star Wars.
Did you see the short?
Yes, I did.
So I did Star Trek Discovery Pod, and I talked a little bit on there about it.
Yes.
But I'm curious what you thought.
I disagree with you guys entirely.
You liked it?
I liked it quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. People should listen to the Star Trek Discovery Pod because Mike and Clyde and Grant spent a fair amount of time dissecting this 15-minute short that, if you don't know, they're doing.
We spent more time than it lasted.
Yeah. Your podcast is longer than the short. The shorts they're doing, they're called short treks. They're focusing on like one character, and they're going to do them once a month until January when the new season starts.
And we got Tilly this week.
And so that should have been
This
great.
month?
Everybody loves Tilly.
Yeah.
Wait, Evil Tilly?
Not evil Tilly, not
I
Tilly.
like Evil Tilly. Wait,
To be
Tilly?
fair, she was good.
Yeah.
I thought she was good.
You still with Feral Alien.
I thought the feral alien was dumb. I thought that the writing was a little bit rote.
Yeah. It's
and
interesting.
It was just boring.
I think the thing that you guys found rote, I liked. I enjoyed this felt like an old school Star Trek episode, like an Alien of the Week, Problem of the Week episode, and they did it in 15 minutes instead of an hour. So I kind of like seeing this sort of throwback a little bit.
Oh, Tilly and the alien are just like each other, and that they can't win their parents' affection. And
Yeah. Well, it's 15 minutes. What do you want them to
and
do?
they are destined for greatness. And whatever.
Oh, I liked it. I liked the send off between the two of them, where Tilly figures out that she's the queen.
Also, the alien's like a weird animal for like half of it, and then all of a sudden the animal who's acting like an irrational animal, once you can talk to it, suddenly can act like all like dignified and be like, okay, I'll have a conversation with you. Also, they're like, is this a kid? They're like, oh, it's a baby. It's only 17 years old. It's like an infant. But also, it's a genius who just invented warp speed and was acting like a little feral animal. Like, what is it? What character do you guys want me to buy into here? You only have 15 minutes.
I didn't find any of
it's
this.
all over the place.
I didn't find any of
I
this.
can't believe they didn't
inconsistent.
just go with something like tardigrade.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it for what it was. It did not. You guys had a much different reaction than I did, but maybe I've just been jonesing for Discovery. I was so happy to see any of it back, but I liked it.
You have no critical eye for television.
That's
the
true.
problem.
I love everything, as we just discussed. I love everything.
Yeah, you're just a big fanboy for everything TV.
I love every show that's on television.
Watch. Let's see if he'll even say anything bad about Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul.
God damn it. Do it, Grant. All right. Go back to what I said about Lethal Weapon, people.
Is that what? No one was listening. I wasn't in the room.
Always
so.
picking on the little guy.
All right, Better Call Saul, dude.
Yeah. Winner is the name of the
Winner
finale.
Take All, right?
Was it Winner Take All? I think it was called Winner.
Now, Kyle, you haven't seen this. Do you need to leave the room?
No, I fucking love spoilers.
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
will spoil it for me, and then I'll go home and be like, I gotta watch that. I gotta see.
Les
the sled.
also doesn't seem to mind
Yeah, I don't
spoilers, and I think you're seasons behind.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I'm several seasons.
Yeah,
behind.
if
How's
spoilers-
Chuck doing?
There will be spoilers. Oh, I got bad news about Chuck. Yeah.
Chuck's
He's
dead.
He's a jerk.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Kim's doing okay.
we finally get it.
Yeah.
We at the very end of this, he's becoming the Red Dragon, aka Saul Goodman.
Well, yeah, he's gonna practice under that name. I was like, that's great. I before we get to that point, what did you think of all the stuff with Mike chasing down the German dude?
I thought it had a lot of parallels to Breaking Bad and his relationship with Walter White, relationship or Walter White's relationship with Gail Bedecker. I think
Yeah.
they like doing this where you have someone who's endeared, becomes really close to you, and then you have to make that hard decision of do you keep them around or do you kill them? Like, where do you draw your line? And, I mean, we've seen already that Mike can be a bit of a mercenary. I'm not sure how much he's killed other people at this point before this.
Yeah.
But he was doing some shady cop shit before he got kicked off the force and his son got blamed for it and killed or whatever.
Yep.
So I feel like he obviously has it in him to pull a trigger and kill someone. But I mean, it just seemed inevitable to me that dude was dead because that's the story beat they want to hit for the finale.
What I found
Mike has a
interesting.
Gale.
What I found interesting was him pushing back against Gus in the most professional Mike way. Like, he keeps telling him, he never says, "I'm not going to do it." He says, "That would be a mistake. There's other ways to go," and he brings it up like 4 or 5 times, which for Mike is a pretty notable thing.
Yeah, but Mike always tries to avoid killing people.
Yeah.
Like he at least as best he can. Like we see in all the other little heists he pulls or whatever. When he rigs those tires to blow, or when he goes and robs the house, like he makes sure that like no one has to die.
Yeah.
They can just get tricked because he can be more cunning than them, and he suddenly is at a point where there's no walking away from this. This guy is a liability, and they can no longer trust him. They got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally reminded me of Walt and Gale. It's the half measures, full measures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quick question: do we find out what happens to the wife?
The German?
Yeah, because so I got halfway through the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, he calls and
tells
shoos
her
her
to-
away. Like,
Yeah.
you got to get the fuck out of
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
I don't.
They didn't
I
do
mean, it's heartbreaking. He
That's-
basically has to say, "I don't want you here. I don't want to see you. Go away."
Yeah. Mike,
Just so that she doesn't get killed.
Mike essentially gives him his version of mercy, which is that he gets it. He tells him to basically make sure his wife does not land or does not stay, or she's dead. And he tells her, "You've got to get her back on that plane."
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now, did you read Steppenwald's little write up on this?
No, I've not.
Oh. He was talking about how there's some loose threads there with Mike having that guy use his phone.
Yeah.
And that could be a dangling thread. And then also the dead body from, what's that dude's name? Lalo.
German guy.
Lalo, the guy from the Salamanca crew who's chasing after Mike.
Yeah.
He killed that or the Western Reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That poor kid.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And that's going to be a loose thread because now cops might see footage or know who is going in and out of there, and now they're going to have to deal with that.
Now, what do you think about Jimmy having that moment with the shoplifter girl outside? Is that when he decides to become Saul?
I was confused because I thought we were in a flashback.
Yeah.
When I first saw it.
That
No,
was
'cause
a weird jump. Yeah.
I didn't. There was something about the way they were talking. Oh, because they were talking about like the scholarship they'd established in Chuck's name.
Yeah, but
That's
I
how
missed
I
the
knew.
in Chuck's name. I just thought it was a
okay.
scholarship thing, and that, like, since the episode started with that beautiful scene between him and his brother,
Yeah.
before where Chuck begrudgingly has to deal with Jimmy, but he does genuinely care for him in that scene when he's drunk.
Oh my gosh. So Shannon jumped in during that scene and she hasn't watched any of it. And she's just like, I don't know why he doesn't like his brother. He seems really nice to him. And I'm like, that's all this show is
Yeah.
why he doesn't like his brother.
Yeah. But
But it was like a rare moment where we got to see like the genuine like bond between the two of them.
right. And because we had that flashback, I thought that we were just jumping back in time again to when he was like he was back at that company. So when they were having that meeting, I was like, oh, okay. I really appreciated it. It was a good way for them to have the character tell the audience where Jimmy's coming from and his I guess fall to the dark side.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
he's becoming Saul Goodman. He's
Yep.
becoming jaded with this life that he kept trying to pursue, that no one is ever going to forgive him
Right.
for the type of person that he once was. And no matter how hard he tries to be a better person, they're always going to see there's red in his ledger,
Yeah.
as Black Widow would say.
Well, he gives that great speech, and I think the speech is really moving and effective. And
I don't think it was effective for her.
No.
I think it was good for us.
well, the thing is, like, I mean, Kim bought into it.
No, but
You're talking about the girl, yeah,
with the
yeah,
girl when
yeah.
like she was like, dude, I'm just trying to get on the bus. This is
Yeah.
a little intense.
Yeah.
I didn't get the scholarship. Big fucking
Yeah, that speech was not for her. That was for him.
yeah, it was for him.
That was totally for him.
And he actually cries
Yeah.
after that. Like he shows some real remorse, not for his dead brother,
Yep.
but for himself.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the last point we see Jimmy.
Yeah.
That's the last point we see Jimmy. Because from then on, he's Saul. He goes and gives this speech that seems sincere, and it seems like the kind of thing Jimmy would say, because Jimmy was still trying to win approval. And so Kim totally buys it. And when they go out, and he just like immediately turns on a dime, and he's like, they totally bought it, those suckers. The look on her face when she sees it is fantastic.
She's been so great this entire season.
Yeah, she really
and
is.
even just that little subtle gesture she gives where she wipes away the little tear, like completely sells everything that he did in that room.
Yeah.
He's also fantastic, obviously.
Yeah, he's great. But yeah, you're not wrong. She's underrated, I think. Ray Seahorn is fantastic in this show.
I mean, she's been progressively better and better each season. I mean, she started off great.
Yeah.
But this was her season as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Everything that he did pivoted off of her, their whole relationship.
Oh, yeah. So next season, Saul?
Dude, I guess we finally have him beginning to be Saul. Like, I don't know how much they need to go in to him being Saul Goodman for us. Like, do we need to see? We need to see the becoming. We don't
Yeah.
need to see him being Saul Goodman because we've seen that before. I
Yeah.
feel like I hope that this will actually be the season that starts bridging the gap between the past and like where he is currently.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Do you think this is the final season that we're coming up on? I
don't
mean,
know.
how much more could there be to do?
Do you think they could do 4 more seasons of Saul after the events of Breaking Bad, the black and white
Dude.
timeline?
Oh, man, I would love to see them go up
They're
to that.
going
I
to
don't
jump
think that-
networks, and it's going to become a half-hour workplace sitcom at Cinnabon.
I mean, I'd watch it. I would watch it.
Be,
Yeah.
Better Call Saul, the new class.
I'm so down for that.
Yeah, I'll watch it. Yeah. Yeah, I my question is, they've got to be at least eyeing the door at this point.
Right.
What are they going to do afterwards? Are they going to keep in this universe, or are they going to do something new?
Like, who knew that they were going to spend, was this 4 seasons?
Yeah.
4 seasons before he even becomes Saul Goodman.
Right.
And how long they could make Jimmy McGill interesting. And
Yeah.
yet they did. And they are such masters at character development and slowly doling it out and making it believable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be down for whatever they want to do. I just don't know if they need to, and I think they already kind of recognize that. So, yeah, they have to show where his relationship goes with Kim. That's about it.
Yeah, that's the big thing left. And sort of show how Mike becomes sort of his guy.
And how Nacho,
What happens with Nacho?
yeah, I don't know, because is he still around in Breaking Bad?
Well, remember when the first episode Saul is introduced, when they take him out to the desert in the RV, he says something about, is this about Ignacio? Which is Nacho. So there's a callback in the first episode of first episode of Saul when he thinks they're going to put a bullet in his head, he's yelling about Ignacio. So there's something there that's gonna tie them in.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know what the next series in the Breaking Bad universe is going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be called Salamanca. And then Hector's the one with the bell, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just going to be long, silent scenes of him staring at people, not saying it. Because they can make the most mundane thing interesting.
Yeah.
They're just going to take the dialogue out. They're going to go drive with Ryan Gosling on Breaking Bad.
And then
it's
the
just going to
plot of Huel waiting in that room.
be done.
And that's
Poor
it.
Huel.
No,
Done.
Huel will actually become successful and have his own game show. It's be Huel's house.
Huel's house.
Cool set. Oh. It would be a show about him being a game show host.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we would get the
Show within
game
a show.
Yeah, and we would get the mundane just staring
Yeah,
and
with
nobody
Salamanca
talking.
as his Andy Richter just ding
Yeah.
ding ding ding, and
Yeah.
he'll host. the show.
Okay, now we're getting kind of silly, guys.
Now, I do want to say, if they were to do a Salamanca show that's set in the days of the cartel, and show it like in Mexico and all that kind of stuff, I'd watch that show.
Like different timeline?
I don't like their cartel stuff as much.
You don't like the cartel stuff?
No.
I like that.
I don't know.
I also still want to see the origin of Gus Fring.
If you'd have told me that the Better Call Saul show would be good, I'd have said no.
Yeah, me too.
Like I'll trust whatever they want to do next. Like I swear, if they actually said it was going to be a Cinnabon workplace comedy, I'd be like, "Fuck, it's worth an episode." I don't know, they might pull it off. It could be really shockingly good.
All right. Listener question time, folks.
Dessert.
It's dessert time. I'm not going to make those noises.
why
I'm
would you
sorry.
not?
Oh,
Please edit
sorry.
that out.
That's how I eat pudding.
We all have headphones on for
That's how I eat pudding. Folks, if you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/TV Dudes, once a week, Randy puts up a post, and I will never make that sound again. I'm really sorry. Really sorry.
Grant's ASMR channel.
Anyway, you guys can ask us whatever you want. Like, could you never make that sound again? Our first question comes to us from Daniel Uvaldo, who says, "Hey, Randy, what's an anime that you think Grant would actually enjoy?"
I think that Grant would love My Hero Academia because he loves academia and heroes.
What is My Hero Academia?
It's a show that I've heard of. 'Cause
Oh.
people buy it by the
Because you don't watch anime either.
I don't watch it. I'm not sure why I got this question because the answer is either Cowboy Bebop or Akira. That's literally all I know.
I liked the Hayao Miyazaki movies. Are those anime?
Yeah,
Those are anime. Yeah, those count.
That's what I was going to ask. Does what we were talking about earlier count?
Porco Rosso. Porco Rosso's
Or
good.
later?
Yeah.
What is it? I don't know how time works. We're talking about Doctor Who.
Less. Stay focused. We don't reference the future.
The timeline is split.
Timeline is set.
Yeah, okay. No,
So,
wait, that's legit. We're in the third segment. Fuck, you're okay.
No, because we just talked all about time travel. We're
I
not
don't know
okay.
what's going on. I'm sweating so
Grant's
much.
going to make that noise again in a second.
Yeah, I was
it's going
trying
to
to
be
think
a
about that question too, and I was thinking that none of us like anime.
None of us
I don't
like
know how we're
anime.
going to answer this.
loop. Dragon Prince is pretty good.
Well, Kyle Volti says, "Hey, TV dudes, any thoughts on Murphy Brown's relaunch? What other sitcoms would you want to see reborn?
Cheers.
You want Cheers
No,
back?
I actually don't.
You want Ted Danson to
Yes.
leave The Good Place to do that?
No, I want him to do it alongside it, just
He's
like
going to leave
Veronica
The Good
Mars.
Place.
No.
He's also too old. 1 foot out the door.
God damn it, Grant.
1 foot out the afterlife door.
I want Ted Danson's grandson, because he has some, to come and play Sam's grandson, who launches a new Cheers as a series of sports bars, and Sam hates this and becomes his grumpy business partner.
You know,
What
you
if
could
they're-
get Woody Harrelson to pop in.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They're not sports bars. They have to be some like weird dating, like modern dating bar.
Oh
or
no,
something.
I think sports bars, and he's trading on his granddad's fame as a relief pitcher, and Sam wants no part of it. I don't actually want this.
no. That's-
I want a new Night Court. I think there's plenty to
Oh,
be mined
yeah.
out of the train wreck that is the current court system.
Oh, yeah.
It's just as good as it would have been.
Well,
then.
like maybe the head judge could really like beer.
I like beer. I like it.
That could be his thing. It's like he's always drinking beer.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. A sitcom that
so-
I want relaunched.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. New season 1. Same cast.
Do I want another
it's
sitcom
like you won
relaunch?
Mario Brothers and it just starts over.
Yeah, it just starts at the beginning.
Like different casting for cricket.
You can't tell me they wouldn't do that.
I'm amazed there's not an episode of that now.
But the question about Murphy Brown. Does anybody here watch Murphy Brown?
I did not, and I'm still meaning to watch the relaunch. Actually, I saw Mike Moody had posted about it, that even though it had some sitcom cringe moments, that it was overall good. And this is a relaunch that I'm looking forward to.
Is Joey Pastor still in it as the painter?
I don't know.
Is that his name?
I don't know.
Speaking of Mike Moody, he asked us, why you all bishes? I don't know what this word is.
I don't know. Did somebody answer him?
Let's see. Grant Davis did.
Oh, who's that guy?
He said, guys, I think I can cover this question. Yas, queen? Did I say that correct?
Yeah, that's good. That's perfect.
And Mike replied, work, and I'm sorry I even wasted everyone's time with that.
I'm not a very happy as glorious.
In conclusion, just going to eat some more pudding over here.
What that noise is? Jesus.
Dennis McElwain says, hey, dudes, why are the Star Trek Discovery people embarrassed by Spock's ears? They cover him up in the trailer. Oh, yeah, Spock pops up in the trailer, by the way, for the next
Lumberjane
season.
Spock.
Yeah.
Lumberjack.
Why Lumberjack?
Because he's got the beard.
Why Lumberjane?
Because that's a comic, and I misspoke.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's got a beard. He's looking very metro.
I've heard him called Lumberjack Spock and also Daddy Spock by certain friends.
Spock Daddy.
Spock Daddy.
Oh, boy. Next one comes to us from Jonathan Haptemichael, who says, hi, dudes. When I visited my girlfriend's family, her mom was binging The Closer for days on end.
Oh, my God.
I was a little surprised that Raymond Cruz from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul's Tuco Salamanca was a regular cast member because of his much more subdued acting. What threw me for a loop was seeing Rhea Seehorn, Kim Wexler, play a murder victim for an episode, a bubbly women's advice vlogger. Have there been any early career performances of new or relatively new breakthrough TV actors that really surprised you? It could be genre, character type, or whatever.
You know who surprised me? Everybody knows who Brian Posehn is now, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in this room, at least. When he started showing up on Just Shoot Me, news radio, he was always playing this tall, weirdo dude. It fit. But it was funny because he was just a dude. He was some random guy. But I started to recognize, hey, that guy's been in 6 other shows.
I mean, there's what's his name? Mac from It's Always Sunny.
Oh, yeah.
Like when he popped up on Lost.
He popped up on Lost
That was
early
weird.
on in 04.
So did Dennis.
I already super knew him from It's Always Sunny, and it was
Yeah.
fucking weird. Like, it took me completely out of Lost for a
Yeah, it's
second.
like, what are you doing
Yeah.
here?
Get to the island, man.
Shit's gonna get weird.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him even younger when he popped up on one of those crime shows, CSI or
Yeah.
NYPD Blue,
Yeah.
or I don't know what it was.
Yeah. It is funny to go back and see, like, CSI, NYPD Blue, all those procedurals. Almost everyone played a victim or a murderer at some point on those shows.
Law and Order, like the classic Law and Order, is the best worst of that for me. It's a fun show to go. Well, it's a weird show to go back and revenge, but you can always tell, like, you're watching this episode where you don't recognize anybody except like Chris Nost and a couple like Paul Sorvino or somebody. And then suddenly they interview 5 people about a crime, one of whom is now famous.
Right.
Yeah.
They fucking did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's great because, like, that show is such a rite of passage for so many actors, or like the CSI, like these things that run 400 or 500 episodes.
You're like, oh, Ann Dowd's in it? She did it.
Yeah.
She's the
But you see
murderer.
people pop up and are like, I know you. Oh, you definitely did. Like, yeah.
So I've been rewatching Parks and Rec a little bit when I get a chance. And I'm into season 4 where she and Ben are together and her old boyfriend, played by Louis C.K., shows up.
Yeah.
And he handcuffs Ben to the bathroom and tries to get Leslie to fall in love with him again. He has some boundary issues. And let me tell you, that was a lot more uncomfortable on the second watch.
I remember when I was in biology class in 6th grade, I want to say, 7th grade, I watched this show called Voyage of the Mimi. It was this educational show that was supposed to teach us about how you could use different science tricks to survive if ever you were stranded on an island, right? Mm-hmm. And there was this cast, that was, this little crew on this ship that got stranded on an island, and the young kid who got stranded on that island was none other than Ben Affleck. And then he got older and all of a sudden was in Good Will Hunting and shit.
Journey of Natty Gann was that exact. I think that's also Ben Affleck.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He must have been making the rounds on educational
Like
crappy
weird Disney
shit.
movies.
Yeah. All right, last question, guys. Jonathan Huff-Nagels closing it out with this one. He says, Dear TV Dudes, I finally got to meet a new friend who recently moved to town with his wife. While sitting down for lunch and coffee, we ended up chatting for hours, and I recommended a few shows they haven't seen. Many of those shows I discovered because of you. Thank you for providing an awesome year's worth of amazing TV reviews and recommendations. You have added a weekly bit of joy to my podcast listening. Also, thank you for being saying so friendly and kindly. Aw.
That's nice.
Did you recommend us to your friends? Huffnagel, did you get us more listeners? No, I'm kidding. But not kidding. You better tell them. Make them love us. $50 on Patreon. $50.
What if they listen to it right now and they're like, wow, we were going to listen to the show, but that guy's really aggressive.
He's a dick. I don't have $50 an episode to give him.
Also, because somebody on the internet will point it out, I was wrong. It's not Affleck. It was John Cusack.
Oh, okay.
They're both white dudes.
And started my Ray Wise love.
Okay.
All those Johns. He goes on to say, they like horror movies and asked me if Castle Rock was good, and I told them it's more of a drama mystery. I also mentioned Mr. In-Between for newly released shows. I'm sad you guys didn't watch more of it. If I can use my punch card for recommending something to you, just get through the comedic setup of the setup in episode 3 before you toss it aside for good. What TV shows did you need to give a fair second chance to before ending up liking them enough to continue viewing?
Mad Men, The Wire.
Mad Men. I watched that whole first season, wasn't into it, rewatched it, loved it.
Mad Men grabbed me really quick.
Really?
Yeah. But that does explain why, for a little while, like for a show that became a juggernaut, there was a little while there where I felt like the only person watching Mad Men, and I couldn't get my roommates into it.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I mean,
Did you say Breaking Bad?
no, The Wire.
Oh, The Wire.
The Wire, I watched the first episode like 3 times before I finally went on.
Yeah, The Wire is so slow.
Yeah.
It took 4 episodes before you go, yes.
Yeah.
It took me 2 tries to watch The Deuce, and I ended up really enjoying season 1 of it. Trying to think.
I know there's other stuff that I've
I've
watched.
retried
yeah.
Game of Thrones 3 times, and that's not going to stick.
I
It's a
feel
shame.
like
It's kind of good.
I've heard.
I feel like Girls, I watched that first time and I was like, oh, I should go back to this in 300 years when there's nothing else on TV.
Yeah. In 300 years, I think you will have covered it.
Yes.
All right. Well, folks, is there other shows that you guys have revisited because of us? Like maybe you were like, oh, I thought that show sucked. And then we said, nah, give it a shot, dude. It's good.
No, it's actually pretty good.
Because we're trying to do that with Les, and we're trying to convince him to watch Game of Thrones.
I've given up.
Dude, you have to binge all of it.
How many years will I have to go through before I get dragons? 2.
The first season you get dragons.
It is. The first season
Really?
is
You
right.
see dragons?
It's in the end.
Yeah,
It's at the end of it, but you get the dragons.
there's the dragons.
It's the big reveal at the end of the first season. She self-immolates and then realizes she can't burn. Or no, she already knew that, but she births the dragons.
Yeah, the dragons are there. And
It's a pretty dope scene, actually.
you should rewatch Game of Thrones while making a bunch of dishes with onions in them.
Yeah, neither of these things are acceptable.
Neither of those are going to happen. I've given up on both.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap things up there. It's been a big, fun, super long episode because Randy keeps giving us 12 million shows to review.
I don't make the schedules.
Yes.
The TV networks
That's
make
like
the schedules.
exactly the thing you do.
No, I just put down what the TV networks are putting out there. People
you
want
make
to
the
hear it.
TV dude schedule.
Okay, that's true.
All right, folks, we're going to be back next week with 1 show to review, maybe?
There's
or
like
2?
6 Netflix shows.
Son of a bitch. TV dude's out. The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.